playing with you and just knowing who you are, getting to know you over the years, just that you're an absolute beast in the gym, and that you love putting the time in. You're committed.
Well, that's good to know.
Whether it's the gym or the weight room or even stick handling, extra stuff. You just love doing it, and
Yeah.
I can relate to that to myself. Like that's what I like doing, and that's why I feel I really enjoy coaching now. Is not only to pass on the things I learned and the secrets or the I wouldn't even call them shortcuts, but like the little tips to get there
Yeah,
to learn it a little faster. Uh,
absolutely.
but what attracts you kind of to this lifestyle? Um,
No, so for me, as a kid growing up, I was always an active kid, but to say that I was even remotely concerned with things such as nutrition or proper hydration, things like that, it would just be not true. I was the type of kid who, you know, was uh, was known to maybe have a liter of Coke and a pizza a little bit too often. Enjoyed my candy and my ice cream and all those type of things. As you should in moderation. Remember, in moderation, very key. But as a kid, I really felt like my physical conditioning held me back. And one way in which it really negatively impacted me was it was always a struggle in terms of skating. So when you're on the ice, obviously, and you see other kids able to move around a little bit better and able to do a little bit more, and maybe their game's progressing a little bit faster than yours. I think there comes a certain age when you stop to view hockey as kind of a hobby or a recreational thing, and you start to think that this is something I want to do. So probably about the age of 14, 15, got into going to the gym and starting to be mindful of am I eating my fruits? Am I eating my vegetables? Like maybe I should stay away from the white bread. Maybe I should stay away from the 4 scoop sundae and just have the 2. Like things like that. And I think obviously as you gradually make some changes in your lifestyle, it you start to see those positive effects. So that's something that I think is important as you make these changes, you feel better about yourself. And one thing you mentioned is putting in the extra work. Like for me, doing the extra work or staying on the ice or going to the gym or riding the bike, whatever, like I enjoy doing it. And I think that makes it a lot easier when you enjoy what you're doing. Like you don't view it as work, you view it as working at your passion and pursuing your goals. So for me, that's kind of how this whole thing went from kind of forcing myself to do it to then becoming second nature.
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you talk about exactly how life lessons and learning and all that, and just because I'm a 1986 birthday or 1989, a few years older, but given on the pro, I guess pro level and the culture, you're always battling against not just someone but many people, and you're always trying to find those advantages to try and get better. And you're looking at these other guys like, wow, some guys are really nutritious. They really take a lot of commitment to doing that, and it's natural to them. Where you get some players that get a little looser, and some that are a lot looser, and it's just, I think, for me to pass on to younger players, being educated is a really important thing when you're younger. It's not even just sometimes players; it's a lot is the parents.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's not that they're doing their best to support their
Yeah.
kids and save myself, but parents, it's important to be educated on what
Yeah.
these athletes can be eating, because it's totally different than
Yeah.
what I've seen, or what even I knew, or what other people know. So yeah, I mean, given on that, you've taken nutrition, right?
Yes. Yeah. So a little bit about so we talked about the hockey a little bit, but we've also mentioned the gym, but I'm actually a certified personal trainer. I have a nutrition certification as well. I'm currently working on a master's in strength and conditioning. But, so for me, like you said, this has become a lifestyle and something that I want to take my post-hockey life in that direction. But, to touch on something you said, especially for the youth players, like make sure every day you thank your mom and dad for taking you to the rink. Because right now, if you're a young player, if you're is it Adam for you guys, or Pee Wee or Bantam, uh, those levels, squirts for us here in the U.S. Like mom and dad are the biggest thing in your hockey career right now. So you really have to thank them for doing all those sacrifices, because they're working hard so that you can go to that camp or get that stick or buy that new pair of skates. So make sure you're thanking your mom and dad, and you're definitely aware of the influence they have on your career. And like you said, every parent wants what's best for their kid. I don't think that you can never question the direction of the parents. Like they all want what's best for their kid. Sometimes just the information isn't out there. We live in a world where there's so many conflicting things, and you should never eat a carb, and you should eat only protein, and then you should eat this much protein and a ton of carbs. But you know, there's so much information; it's hard to decipher.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, there's a lot. I think that there's a lot of parents that are doing the research, whether it's about camps or about nutrition or skill stuff. Like you use the Google machine and
You know,
can get answers that way. But I think it's really important to keep doing your, I guess, due diligence to talk with coaches,
hmm
ones that you trust and ones that, and what I like to influence is the ones that have been there, um,
hmm
just because they've had to grind at it. It's not to get to certain points of their career. It's not, and everyone should know that it's not easy. It's just like what happens in a regular job. It's not easy to get there, and when you get there, you gotta do your job.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, there's a lot of people who've come before us, and I think it's you have to learn from those people. And like for me when I played with you as a younger pro, and it's looking at the older guys. And if you're on a midget team, it might be looking at the guys who are a year older than you, or if you're on the Bantam team, it's looking at the kids who play on the age up and are getting drafted, whether it's the Western Hockey League or OHL or USHL, whatever it is. But you always need to have good role models. And I think as a coach, like you said, it's very important to be a role model for these kids. And we all want the kids that we work with to be better than us. So when I work with a kid, like I'm trying to give the information, I know you do too, where I want them to get to the levels I never could. So that's kind of what I think the importance of working with those guys who came before you, and having a positive role model for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and then also these kids need to understand that sometimes the coaches they see, it doesn't mean that they weren't good enough to play there or that they couldn't play there. It's just a matter of job opportunities too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not,
Yeah, there's reasons for sure that some guys aren't good enough to play at those levels, or they weren't the best at that
no.
position or whatever. But at the end of the day, these coaches are just trying to use their, we'll say, failures, mistakes, or even things that really work for them
Yeah.
efficiently, and long term.